Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Yes. So, thank you, Peggy, for tuning in. We've got a Q&A/smoke show that we're going to enjoy tonight. All right. So, yes. Hello, Elizabeth Engel. Welcome to everybody that is tuning in. I appreciate you all for tuning in, joining me on this Saturday evening. Okay. Now, we have some topics that people have been asking a lot of questions about, right? They've been asking me questions about, or questioning me in comments and, wanting to know my position on certain things. And I figured tonight I just do a smoke show, nice and easy, relaxed atmosphere where I'll answer some questions. Now, there will be some rules. It's not a free-for-all because you can't run a show as a free-for-all. Now, here are the, question priorities, okay? So, Super Chats will be given priority. Members will be given priority. Moderators, long-term supporters, subscribers, and then last will be the trolls. Now, I'm not going to... Now, there have been some members and subscribers and moderators who don't agree with my positions, and I want to give them an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have. Now, we've got video clips because we just showed one. And the first topic is, I want y'all to make me a Zionist again. So there have been a lot of people that have been asking questions about why I don't support Israel, or telling me that I'm dead wrong to not be a Zionist, or that the Bible supports Zionism. Now, if you want to ask what my position is, I'll answer that question as well. But I want to show you, and I've done a full-length video on this, but if there are some questions, I'm willing to answer them. We could talk about the Trump cover-up, Epstein cover-up. We can talk about why I voted the way I voted in 2024. I'm open to answering any of these questions, right? So these are some possible topics that we discuss on almost every episode. The Epstein cover-up, Trump's wins, immigration news, Zionism Today. And the first one I thought we would start with would be the Zionism question, because that seems to be the hot button issue. And I think all roads lead back to Zion or Zionism, because the great noticing is what a lot of people are starting to call it, has been happening, right? Who is my favorite UFC fighter? See, you got in here early and you got to answer your question. I don't watch UFC, so I don't really have an answer for that one. I don't know. I really don't know. What was that guy that did the Trump dance, the champion? The black guy when he had won. I don't know. I really have no idea. UFC it's never really been appealing to me. I grew up watching boxing, and I was a casual boxing fan, not really a boxing historian. I just never got into UFC. If you want to know which sports I like football and I like basketball. And those are the two that, if I'm going to watch sports these days, those will be the two that I'm doing this. Thank you, Elizabeth, right? Okay. Yes. So, yes, Peggy, we do want the Epstein files released. Yes, we're not going to stop talking about that, but the amount of development that has happened about over the past couple of days, I didn't think warranted a full show. So I want to give people an opportunity to ask me questions about certain topics, right? So you saw that. Now, the main issue, I think, is that people are noticing that there's an inordinate amount of compromised people in our government, right? There are a lot of Zionists in our government, and we're tired of them
being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people, and in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel. Next to Israel. The pride of being able to be here and do work.
Yeah. So the pride of being able to be here and do work in the greatest nation on earth next to Israel. This is what we're pushing back on, right? So this is, there you go. That's your definition. Yeah. That's the definition. That's how I'm defining it. You may define it differently. If you have a different definition, go ahead and put it in the chat. We can use your definition, but I'm essentially talking about that. Okay? Yeah. And see, this is the problem, right? So every argument, an unanswerable argument needs these three things. Okay? Let me bring it over here. All right? Clear terms, true premises, and valid logic. And if it fails on one point, then on any of these 3 points, then it is easily answerable. So when people make declarative statements that are objectively false, like to Trump, that person in the comments, it is up to us, especially for those, and this is one of the things that has been a great, I always talk about on my channel, that I'm, bringing the Bible to bear on culture, education, and the family, right? Education is one of the issues that I think is plaguing, or the lack of sound education is what's plaguing our nation here. We don't really teach this anymore, right? People don't understand how to define terms. They don't understand how to check for truth, and they don't understand how to check for validity in an argument. And people can make logically fallacious arguments and continue in that cycle without ever checking their own work. So when you say you're not American, if you're not an American if you don't support Israel and don't think America is more important than the state of Israel, that's absolutely answerable. It's easily answerable. This is not an unanswerable argument. Depending on how you define America, how do you find support for Israel, and if you think America is more important than the state of Israel. Because at the time when the founders, this thing right here, when they wrote this, they weren't Zionist. And they didn't define America that way. So it's nonsensical on the face of it to make this argument. And you've got to, as those that are searching for truth, we want people to be able to do this, right? And some people are asking, why does it matter? Because these people are in our government. They make decisions. Ted Cruz is in our government. He's making decisions about what is best for, he's supposed to be making decisions about what is best for America. But if he's compromised, then we have a problem. And he's not interested in America first. He has at best dual loyalties, but to believe that another nation is better than your nation and to also govern in such a way that I'm going to let Ted speak for himself. Okay? It does matter. It absolutely matters when we have people in our government who believe that Israel should be essentially worshipped.
Seem to be sincere.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel, when we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese, you're not talking about Japanese, you're not talking about the Brits, you're not talking about the French. The question, what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now. Senator,
you're asking the questions, Tucker. You're asking, why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that, and I have.
That is exactly what you just said.
Well, actually, you seem to. By the way,
all right. Let's see. Where's that one? This is not the one. What is it? Yeah. So he essentially says that. Yeah, there it is. He came to the Senate. This is what he says it himself. I need to find the clip though. But he says it in this actual tweet. He says, I came to the Senate committed to being the leading defender of Israel. And I'm proud to have the support of groups like AIPAC and the American Jewish community who advocate on behalf of a close U.S.-Israel relationship. The obsession over American Jews participating in politics has to stop. You see how he redefines terms there? Cut my hand on something. That's interesting. Okay. He redefines the terms there. This is not what the issue is. Right? True term, clear terms, true premises, valid logic. He's not actually operating in good faith. His logic is invalid. He's redefining terms. You can have a close U.S.-Israel relationship. We have a close relationship with lots of countries. What we don't want is compromised politicians who are being funded by a foreign lobby and are governing with that country's interest at the forefront of their decision making. That's what we don't want, no matter the country. Now, we want to know if that's what's happening. We want to know if the nation state of Israel, through AIPAC, is controlling you, Ted Cruz. That's what we want to know. And he bases it upon his theology. We saw that clip in the beginning. So Zionism is inherently dangerous to America. Because whenever you place a foreign nation's concerns over your own, you compromise the welfare of your own nation. And so we don't want that in our politics. And that's what people are starting to push against. They call it the great noticing, right? The great the great recognition, or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. And I have many people who are questioning why I'm not a Zionist, or that I can't be a Christian if I'm not a Zionist? So, and then here's a bifurcation, right? Here's a bifurcation. Would you rather Zionism or anarchy, as if those two are the only options? This is another logical fallacy. It's called the bifurcation or an either or fallacy. There's another option. Again, so this is, and I'm just using a lot of what I teach my sons. I've taught logic, classically. And I'm training my sons to be able to recognize these things too, and to follow the logic. Clear terms, true premises, valid logic. Okay. And so when someone comes in, this is one of the things. Yeah, this is one of, if you could like the video on your way in. When someone comes into my comments and they make nonsensical statements like, or either or fallacies, or clearly false statements, or they haven't clearly defined their terms, they conflate or they equivocate on terms, then we have a problem, right? So we don't believe that Zionism is an accurate reading of the scriptures. That the Zionist position, that you could come from Zionist, that you could become a Zionist by pulling out from the scriptures all the premises that discuss the relationship between God and Israel. Okay. Now, let's see what else we got in here. Any okay. All right. So let's see. Now, one of the things that has been pressing a lot in the comments is, the claims of anti-Semitism, right? That if you know the history of it, right, you're recognizing how Israel was formed, and a lot of people know that. But even let's for the sake of argument say that they are the true Jews descended from Abraham, of the tribe of Judah, and the land is rightfully theirs because God created those borders in Exodus, and they have a claim to that land. Okay. That still doesn't necessitate we're not required then to support them. It still doesn't mean we have to support them. Why? So let's do this. Let's do this thought experiment. Two separate times, God expelled them, destroyed the temple. Right? Whenever you hear about God sending Nebuchadnezzar, and then Jesus predicting that Titus would come, but he's saying that he would come, but he used the same language, right? In the Old Testament, when Nebuchadnezzar was coming, the same prophetic language of nations falling, that was used when Nebuchadnezzar was going to destroy the temple. Jesus picks up on that same language. John, the apostle, picks up on it in Revelation to foretell the coming destruction again of the temple. Titus comes, destroys the temple. Nebuchadnezzar came, destroyed the temple, expelling the Jews. There's been a divorce from of that covenant because they broke it. It's clear as day in the scriptures that they broke the covenant. He says they killed the Messiah, and he took it from them and give it to people who were bearing the fruits. So we still aren't required, even if they believe that that land is theirs, and even if all of them are the descendants of the tribe of Judah. That doesn't mean that America has to support them. Now, if God wants to protect them, hasn't he been able to do that in the past? Multiple times you see it in the scriptures. When God wants to protect them, he just does it. He doesn't need America to do it. We're not necessary to make sure that they survive. So I'm just trying to figure out if someone could make me a Zionist again, because I get people asking me this. I had a member recently, right? Yeah. So this is a great question. This is a great question. Thank you for this one, right? Right? Thank you for this one. Okay? Because it's really important that we recognize this. This is also another invalid question. Why is it invalid? Because we're not saying that God didn't keep his promise. We're saying that there was a condition to that promise. That God said if they didn't keep the covenant, he would expel them from the land and divorce them. Which is what happened. That's it. Right. And see, then people come. This is the next thing. This is the next thing, right? They say his promise to Israel was an everlasting promise, right? Every promise that was everlasting in the scriptures, okay, is found. And we just go. Hold on one second. So when God told David that a son of his would sit on the throne forever, who was he talking about? Can you answer that question? When God said, a son of yours will sit, he told David this, right? In the covenant that he made with him, a son of yours will sit on his throne, on the throne forever. Who was he talking about? Because Solomon died. Exactly. There's the correct answer. Okay. So that was an everlasting promise made to David, but fulfilled in who? Yes. Fulfilled in who? Yes. Yes. Because Solomon did what? What did Solomon do? What did Solomon do? What did Solomon do? Let me show y'all. This is one of the, right? Hold on one second. Loved many foreign women. Right? 700 wives, 300 concubines. Clung to these women in love. And his wives turned away his heart. He turned away his heart, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and did not wholly follow the Lord. Okay? And the Lord was angry with Solomon. Since you did not keep my covenant and my statutes that I've commanded you, I will surely tear the kingdom from you and give it to your servant. There's a pattern. God makes a promise. And there is an everlasting component to it. There's a failure on the part of someone not named Jesus, whether it be the nation of Israel, whether it be Solomon, whether it be, all right, just keep naming it. Moses, he didn't uphold the Lord God as holy, so he did not allow him to enter the promised land. There will be a prophet among you from your brothers. Every promise. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a Zionist. Every promise, right? Here we go again. And we come back to this. For all the promises of God are yes in one person, Christ. Where Israel failed to uphold God, Jesus did. Where Solomon loved many wives, turned his heart away from God, well, the king, the true king that will sit on the throne forever, Jesus didn't. Where Moses didn't uphold God as holy, when he struck the rock, instead of just calling out, Jesus did. He upheld God as holy, perfectly obeying every command of God, doing the works that the Father sent him to do. And guess what? Jerusalem, which killed the prophets, stoned them, they killed the Son. Veil torn in two. 40 years later, temple destroyed. There will be no third temple, because Christ is tabernacling with his people. We are the temple of God in which the Holy Spirit dwells. So that's why I will never be a Zionist again. Once you realize the old covenant language of God coming in judgment that Jesus picks up and uses in Matthew 24, which is again recapitulated in Revelation. That's why I won't be a Zionist again. Right? So that's why, again, the nation state of Israel loves dispensational theology because it keeps American Christians under their thumb. Specifically, politicians that come over to the Wailing Wall that need to be elected, they go into the covenant with AIPAC to make sure that America remains Zionist to its core. Thanks be to God, though, that people are waking up from the dispensational Zionist misinterpretation of the scriptures and saying, well, this has no biblical validity. It is a misapplication, a misreading of scripture, and we can deny it. And all of your claims of anti-Semitism are just ad hominem. They're just trying to, you poison the well before we even get a chance to speak. Although we may have sound biblical arguments, the visceral reaction to the Zionist is Ma Israel. Ma Israel. You can't touch God's anointed, right? You can't. No. We're not interested in that. We're not interested in doing the bidding of Bibi Netanyahu. That's not. Yeah. And we find that, Galatians 6 speaks of that. I talked about that in another video. Christian Zionism is toxic. The Israel of God. Paul makes the distinction. Essentially, that word there could be in Galatians 6:16 could be peace be upon his people, and namely upon the Israel of God. That's, yeah. All right. Peace and mercy be all who follow his rule, or they are the new people of God. And upon that kai there can, in the Greek, can be interpreted as, let's do this. And it's specifically right there. So it joins to partitive words the general notion, so that it is equivalent to and in general and in a word, or in short. That's exactly what that means. Right? Right? Kai epi ton Israel tu theou. That's what it's saying right there. That's the Greek right there. And so the idea is, in short, the Israel of God. So, yeah. And now, this is an interesting one. Al Norman, expound on that. Expound on that, because I've actually made some videos specifically about that. The problems with evangelicalism and how it hasn't really been doing a good job of teaching Christians how to do Christian things and live the Christian life, instead opting for worldly practices and relevance in the culture. But I'd be interested in hearing why you make that claim, because I just want to know. It's curiosity. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I know. But I don't know if my page will ever get that big, and to be blackballed. I mean, this doesn't earn me any money. It doesn't earn me a lot. It's nothing. This is just yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they might be. My little channel, I don't know if they're, yeah, I don't know what. All right, am I back? Yeah, I had some connection issues, apparently. Yeah, there was internet connection issues, right? Yeah, internet connection issues. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know why. Every now and then, like right around this time in the stream, I get internet connection issues. I don't know. We're back. Yes. So, I don't even remember what we were talking about. Who was the last person that asked the question? Who was it? Someone asked a really good question, and I was in the middle of answering. Oh well. Yes. Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you to everybody. Yes. So, now. We have many people who want to, convince us that there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting Israel to be at the forefront of our minds, right? Now, we've talked a lot about Zionism. Let's get back to the, let's see. Well, let's ask any questions that we have about the Trump Epstein cover-up. Yeah. I need to add the Talmud to my list of readings. Again, I keep saying that, but I haven't had a chance to read through the entire thing. I have so many books that I want to read, but I haven't been able to read. So, yeah. So there's so much. Hold on 1 second. Let's bring up a clip to remind us of where we are. All right, where we are in this situation. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
That's it on Epstein, right? That was earlier this month. It seems like so much has happened since then. That was less than 20 days ago. This was less than 20 days ago. I mean, this is it feels like a lifetime ago. And so much has happened. We've had Ghislaine being interviewed twice. Trump being the Wall Street Journal reporting that Trump was told in May that he was in the files. We've had Candace Owens opening up an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. We've had Tucker have multiple people on to discuss the findings. We've had MAGA pushing back on Trump. Trump telling MAGA that if they want the files, they're dumb, they're foolish, and they're falling for another Democrat hoax. Russia. We had Obama being threatened with, charges of treason. This has been a whirlwind of 18 days, man. But yeah, and we still aren't any closer to knowing who's in the files, who's compromised, right? And again, I'm going to go back to this because it still is on topic. Aaron Hoffman says Zionism is simply the divine connection of the Jewish people to the land, and that's clear in Genesis. So that's a reductionist argument. I mean, if you say that, you have to prove it. You say it's simply the divine connection to the land when God expelled them multiple times from the land. It's God who did it. And he promised that he would do it to them in Deuteronomy 28 if they disobeyed. And what is the greatest disobedience that the Jewish people committed was killing God's son. I mean, that's a big deal. I know people don't like to talk about that, but God seems to think that was a deal breaker. That's the issue. If you're a Christian, Jesus is the most important figure in all of Scripture. He's the locus of Scripture, the telos. Everything revolves around him, not Israel. They killed him, and God cut them off because of that. That's a big deal. And so their divine connection to that land, if God expelled them, expelled the northern kingdom, then the southern kingdom, brought them back, and essentially in Ezra hints at the fact that if we don't do what's right, you'll kick us out again. And he does in AD 70. That seems like a very important detail that Christian Zionists want to ignore. And it's from the Bible that he's... Yeah. But, and the reason why that I said that's on topic is because the connections to Jeffrey Epstein and intelligence, Mossad, Robert Maxwell, Trump being in the files, now being compromised because he was told that he was in the files, not wanting his name to, to be associated with Epstein, and Robert Licht being right next to him in multiple discussions with the press about the Epstein files. All of this just all of a sudden happens. We bomb Iran after he said he wasn't going to get us into any new conflicts. Just people are recognizing things. The great recognition is happening. And we're not interested again in doing the bidding of another nation state. Yeah, exactly. All right. Julianne says that Robert Maxwell had 6 top Israeli intelligence officials at his funeral. Because they just wanted to hang out, I guess, at a funeral. Maybe there was no connection there. There was nobody important. Like, what? I don't know. That's a great question. This is what I would say, right? All right. This is one of the reasons why I would say that that's a reality, right? All right. Where is it? And again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. They trust in their riches more than they trust in God. Think about this. Trump actually said that MAGA, right? Did he not say that? Y'all tell me. Did he not say that MAGA is whatever he says it is? That's delusions of grandeur. He's going to die one day. And this movement of people wanting what's best for their country will outlive him. So what is he? That's delusions of grandeur. The movement created him, not the other way around. This was a groundswell that happened during the Obama administration when people were tired of all of these anti-American ideas being shoved down our throats and us being made to submit to leftist nonsense at breakneck speed. And so the movement just needed someone to speak on its behalf. Donald Trump comes along and is willing to, in a very brash fashion, tell people exactly what Americans were being frustrated by. And so he ascends to power. But make no mistake about it, people the America First movement will discard him. Now, he's going to have his loyal followers and Trump cultists, but he's not the end all be all of the America First movement. If one of these rhinos had had the stones to actually say what the populace have been wanting them to say for years and to push back against the establishment. I'm going to show you this. I know people are going to hate this because of the source, but I want to read this quote to you all. I want to see if did I save it? I think I saved it. Hold on one second. I believe I saved it. If not, I think this is a very instructive quote. And some people are going to hate the source, right? Because people just, they hate. I know what they're going to say, but I'm still going to say it. Okay, I'm going to read the quote. It's from R.L. Dabney. Okay. No, he said, look, right there.
I just want some money.
Right there you go. Let's see. Okay. So, R.L. Dabney. I know many people want you to say that name. But let's listen to this. He's talking about conservatism. It's 366 words, but let's listen. Okay. All right. It may be inferred again that the present movement for women's rights will certainly prevail from the history of its only opponent, Northern conservatism. This is a party which never conserves anything. Its history has been that it demurs to each aggression of the Progressive Party and aims to save its credit by a respectable amount of growling, but always acquiesces at last in the innovation. What was the resisted novelty of yesterday is today one of the accepted principles of conservatism. It is now conservative only in affecting to resist the next innovation, which will tomorrow be forced upon its timidity and will be succeeded by some third revolution, to be denounced and then adopted in its turn. American conservatism is merely the shadow that follows radicalism as it moves forward towards perdition. It remains behind it, but never retards it, and always advances near its leader. Its impotency is not hard, instead, to explain. It is worthless because it is the conservatism of expediency only, and not of sturdy principle. It intends to risk nothing serious for the sake of the truth, and has no idea of being guilty of the folly of martyrdom. It always, when about to enter a protest, very blandly informs the wild beast whose path it essays to stop. This is really small print. I'm going to read it from over here. That its bark is worse than its bite. I'm going to read it. That it only means to save its manners by enacting its decent role of resistance. The only practical purpose which it now serves in American politics is to give enough exercise to radicalism to keep it in wind, and to prevent its becoming pursy and lazy, from having nothing to whip. No doubt, after a few years, when women's suffrage shall have become an accomplished fact, conservatism will tacitly admit it in its creed, and thenceforth plume itself upon its wise firmness in opposing with similar weapons the extreme of baby suffrage. And when that too shall have been won, it will be heard declaring that the integrity of the American Constitution requires at least the refusal of suffrage to asses. There it will assume with great dignity its final position. Conservatism is conserving what? What? A lot of people don't like R.L. Dabney, but this is true because it still holds true today. What did they actually stop from? How have they stopped the left from encroaching upon our rights? They themselves encroached upon George Bush after 9/11. One of the greatest rights grab in recent history. We're being spied on constantly because of the policies that he enacted after 9/11. This is always the play. Fear. We'd rather have safety than rights. Here, take our freedoms, right? That's what they know. Fear is a strong motivator. And so they do it over and over and over again. Yeah, what are they, Brother Derek Franklin, welcome. What are they trying to conserve? Did someone leave a super chat? Did I miss it? Here you go. Okay, thank you, Jacoby Williams. I appreciate you. When did you send that? Did I miss that while I was reading? Must have missed that while I was reading. Yes, okay, thank you. All right. God said that the Hebrews shall not return to Israel until the return of the Messiah. Yet Netanyahu is not the Messiah. Okay, well, there you go. He's definitely not. I agree with that. Right? Yeah. So we want comfortable slavery instead of hard freedom. And so, like that video I played 2 days ago, where the Milwaukee Kroger in Milwaukee left the city because of crime. And one of the protesters said that food is a right. Define right. Yes, you have a right to grow your own food, but you don't have a right for Kroger to stay in your neighborhood at a loss because of crime, because you all will not police your own community, and you have no love for the people who actually work there that have lost their jobs because the community would have policed itself. But no. Food is a right. How dare you? We need food. We need access to food. Clean up your community. And here's another thing. You all could call suppliers, start your own business, create a fresh market somewhere, and sell your own food. But because comfortable slavery is better than rugged freedom, they don't even think that way. Hey, but they also know this, that if they start a Kroger competitor or a Kroger replacement, that they're going to get robbed. Right? Exactly. That's it, brother. Brother Derek Franklin for the win. He says it. Conservatism is liberalism going the speed limit, essentially. The left gets there faster. We now have conservatism is no longer. You can be a conservative and want open borders and want amnesty for people who came across the border illegally. That's conservatism. How are you conserving anything? What are you conserving? At this point, what are you conserving? There's nothing American about open borders. That's not an American ideal. America wanted the best and brightest. That used to be the mindset. But now we're just like, well, we need slave labor. Who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to watch our babies? Who's going to clean our hotel rooms if we don't open the borders to the brown people? This is what it's insane to me. But people don't see that's racist. That's racist. The left is racist. That's what the left is saying. I'm not making, look. Oh boy. How many just go search for it. Search for it. I'm not about to pull up all these clips again. We've already talked about this. So what is it that they're conserving? Hunter Biden talked about it. The ladies on The View talked about it. Who else? Gavin Newsom talked about it. Right? Right? Says the right is the right is racist, right? That's it. That's the play right there. Here it is, right?
They're going to put you all back in chains.
They're going to put y'all back in chains, right? They're going to put y'all back in chains.
And you ain't black.
And I ain't black, right? Old Joe, he don't own us black people enough to tell us, yeah. right? The left believes they own black people. What are y'all talking about? So slave masters aren't racist now? You better get back on that plantation, boy. Right? You better get on that plantation. The soft bigotry of low expectations. I don't want my... Well, poor people can be just as good as white kids. Huh? Hey, there ain't no poor white kids? What are you talking about? What's going on? They just making up stuff now. Right? What's going on, Brother Derek Frank? Conservatism and liberalism are two wings of the same bird of prey. Come on, now you start to sound like Malcolm X. I'm at to block you. You in here sound like Malcolm. Never, brother. You know I ain't gonna do that. But look, right? Oh boy, let's listen in. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again because they need to hear this. They need to hear this, right? Much wiser man than I. What's right? What's much wiser man than I? He said it right here. He gave you the playbook on the liberal in the 60s.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling.
I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly. And therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro. Right?
There you go. Every time y'all come in here talking that nonsense about the right being racist, yeah, the left is. Y'all keep talking about that, right? But 94 crime bill.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
Right? I don't want my kids raised in a racial jungle, right? Oh, Joseph. Right? Sleepy Joe Biden. Come on, man. I love it. It's amazing. Who is it that said that? I was listening to, I think it was Matt Walsh. No, it wasn't. Wait, I'm trying to remember who it was. No. It was Tucker Carlson was talking to Anna Kasparian. And I believe it was the two of them. But they were discussing the fact that it's mainly middle-aged white women calling them racist. It's not really, they don't really go out into the world and get called racist by black people. But it's essentially the projection. Liberal white women want to tell me, right? This is what Tucker's saying, that I'm racist. But he's like, well, but black people don't come to me telling me I'm racist like that. I don't get that from black people. And so I'm getting people in here telling me that Trump is racist. Okay.
And you ain't black.
I'm just gonna keep playing this.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
Democrats have had over 60 years to fulfill the promise of prosperity to black people. And what do? They blame it on Republicans, right? Because the Republicans
they're going to put you all back in chains.
That's their play. Hey, we know we didn't do anything for you guys, but we're still better than the Republicans. Would you rather be whipped with a cat of nine tails or regular whip. What? Which one? Well, I'm still getting beat either way. So which one? They're like, well, I'm beating you better than they are. I'm nicer when I beat you. The Democrats have been beating black folk, destroying our cities with their horrible policies. This is, at some point you would think that people would wake up from the Stockholm syndrome and say enough with the Democrats. That's what black men did in the last election. They're just like, well, we're good. We're good. We don't want to ride with y'all. We're tired of you gaslighting us. We're tired of you believing that you own us. Sending Barack Obama down talking about, well, I got a problem with that. You guys don't want to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. And I got a problem with that. We don't care what you got a problem with. You had your bite at the apple, Obama. What happened to the black community under your presidency? What did they actually achieve or attain under your 8-year administration? Because you got the LGBTQ whatever they wanted. Yes, all the blue cities are destroyed. Exactly. Like virtually all of them, right? That's it right there. And they're right. And a lot of them have black politicians at the forefront. I mean, if you would think that this is what we keep hearing, right? That blacks in political power, once we get the political power, we'll be able to correct all the injustices. Just go and look at the cities where you actually have, like this, the Will Smith thing, like this. These is the list of black cities cities that have black mayors. What is going on? We don't understand. Why can't y'all? You would think that black people coming together in a black administration would be able to help black people. But Chicago papered up migrants. Brandon Johnson was doing more for the illegal immigrants than he was for his own Chicagoans. And that's why Chicago is starting to turn red. The nonsense. People are tired of it. Black people are tired of it. Of the perpetual cycle of being promised the world and given nothing. And then they'll say, well, it's better than better than the Republicans. Okay, sure. Go ahead. Stick with them. It's fine. You can stay on the plantation. Go for it. But y'all, we're leaving the plantation. See, it was the majority of slaves that stayed. It was the few that had the courage to say, I don't want to be under the thumb of this oppressive leadership. But we're the sellouts. We're the coons. Yeah, because we don't want to stay on the plantation. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. Y'all can keep it. Y'all can keep the Bidens and the Kamalas and the Jasmine Crockett's and the Ayanna Presleys, and I'll keep them. Keep them. Right? Keep them. Now. All right. So let's see what we got. What are we talking about? We got some stuff on here. Is my brother Caleb Collins in the house? Where is he? No, he's not in here. Okay. I thought somebody mentioned him. All right. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, the good thing is that a lot of. Look, that is true. Daniel said it. It is up to. If we want to fix the problems that ail us, we could. Yeah, I mean, it and the fix is so simple, but it's going to take, I think, the generation. I see a lot of young black people getting tired of the lies of the Democrats and walking away. But You really don't have to, like the mindset that the government is going to somehow give you prosperity when so many groups have come over here to this country and prospered without any government aid or power, political power. Yeah. So, yep. Now we'll go back to discussing this because we just we took a little diversion to highlight the liberal lunacy, right? But we're talking about the Epstein cover-up, and if y'all have any more questions about that, because it seems like, again, I played that clip earlier, and man, that was only 18 days ago, where Trump tried to gaslight his base and continue to try to point us away from the Epstein cover-up by giving us the Clinton and the Russia hoax and Obama and all these other things. Yep. And people aren't being fooled by this. They're not, right? Now, the liberals have been doing what they do, right? They're opportunists. They don't really care about these kids because we've been asking for the files for years. I was posting memes about Epstein, I can't even remember, early on, right? And once he committed, self-deletion, I was a part of the meme brigade back in the day on Facebook, and we've been wanting, now the left, they're just starting to want this. Why? Because, and we talked about this the other day, is that they only want it because it could damage Trump. They don't really care about the children. They're actually only interested in the files because they believe that it could implicate Trump. Now, would they be as... So if Obama's in the files, y'all would be okay with that, right? All the leftsteins in here. Would y'all be okay with that? Would y'all still be as adamant about receiving the files if Obama was in them? Or Biden? Or Hunter? Or Clinton? Yeah, what's going on, pro what? Hello. How you been? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, good. So there's a lot of people, right, that are interested in this only because it is a way. Let's see, let me pull this up. Let's see. Is that it? Let me pull this clip up here. No. Hold on one second. It's a clip from yesterday. I'm going to find it. Because this is, let me see. Come on. Where is it? Where is that? Once again, in the files. It's a victim statement. Is that it? No. Where is that? Okay, well, I'll look at my history. Hold on one second. I want to find it. So this is what we're starting to get. You're starting to get a lot of people asking about the files and wanting the files who never once mentioned that the files were important to them. But now it's so very important, right? Because they're opportunists.
I've been doing the advocacy for survivors' justice for all of my life. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and sexual violence, and it is a life sentence. I think about what I experienced every single day, and I knew that's true for every survivor. When you are violated, when you are groomed, when you are exploited, when you are preyed upon, when you are violated as a child, it changes you at your core. On a cellular level, it is a life sentence. And so for those cynics or political watchers who see this as political gamesmanship or sport, it is certainly not that for me. Or those who would say that this is a distraction and we have better things that we could be working on. No. This healing, transparency, accountability for these survivors is important, and they deserve it, and it is long overdue.
So then they asked Grok, all right, did she mention Epstein between January 2021 and January 2025?
For survivors justice for all my life.
Okay. Grok says, based on searches of her ex-posts, official press releases, and public records, Rep. Presley did not mention Jeffrey Epstein between January 2021 and January 2025. Her first public mention appears in July 2025 regarding subpoenaing the Epstein files. This is why we question these people's integrity. You didn't care before. Now that it's an opportunity to go after Donald Trump, you care. You care. Because, it's a big deal now. It's a big deal. Because they could possibly, because they got the call. Go after, yeah. Now, share your victim story. Share it, right? Share it, right? That's why we don't really care when liberals come in here and they're, oh, Trump's in the files. You're a supporter of PDF files and blah, 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 blah. None of y'all cared about this 6 months ago. Prior to the election, none of you cared. So your virtues and values are based on whatever the left tells you is important. Your entire worldview is based on hatred of Trump. It's a sad place to be, people. It's a sad place to be, right? It's really a sad place to be. Why does this man cause you so much consternation? Right? I'm talking to you, liberal. Why? Why does he cause you so much consternation? Right? If he is guilty, yes, we want him taken down. Because, see this? Look, see this? Look at this. I'm going to show y'all this. Hold on one second. I'm going to show y'all this. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this, guys. It's TDS, yes. All right? See, this is what you guys think we worship, right? Right? This is what you think we worship, okay? I'm going to show you. I'm going to make it bigger. Right? You think we worship this. Watch this. That's actually what we worship. Right? Because you see the difference? You see the difference? Trump isn't. Right? So if he is found to be in the files as a PDF file, take him down. It's as simple as that. We worship the truth, and the truth is a person. Jesus says it. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Right? He uses the direct object in the Greek. That's why they translate it that way. He odos, he aletheia, and he zoe. The way, the truth, the life. He's a person. The truth. Wow. You should worship him. You should worship him. Right? And not the Zionist way. The Christian Zionist way. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Worship the man. Worship the man. The God man. All right? But you think it's this, but it's actually that. We just want the truth. We want justice. Right? Really great book. Where is it? Mortimer Adler's 6 Great Ideas I committed to people. Right? One of the 6 great ideas. Here they are on the back. truth, goodness, beauty, liberty, equality, and justice. It's a very good book. You should read it. Grapple with the ideas, right? But unfortunately, we have too many people that have, well, this is what they have, right? Well, we talked about it. Everybody's mentioning it, right? They have this TDS. Yeah. So, but yeah, the cover up. Everybody thinks, no, we really want, no matter who's in the files, we want those people brought to justice. Now, we talked about, listen, we can move to something else, right? Yeah. So let me ask you this question. So, okay, Hard Talk Radio live in 4K. Christian nationalists are not Christians. Why would you say that? Why do you think that? Why do you think that Christian nationalists aren't Christian? And how would you define a Christian nationalist? That would be the first thing, right? Because if you're going to make the argument, this is what you need, right? You need what? Clear terms. This is for an unanswerable argument. You need these three things: clear terms, true premises, valid logic. So, right. That's it. Well, yeah, he is our president, right? If you live in America, pointing right there at you. He's your president, right? Right there. He's your president. Ooh, yep. Yeah. That's what I'm asking, right? Because I don't understand it. Right? I don't understand why people let's see. I'll read something. Where is that? I know where it is. Where is it? Where's that? It's the state constitutions. All right, let's do that. So, listen to this. This is from the America's Christian History, The Untold Story. Okay? This is from Delaware's Constitution in 1776. The Delaware Constitution established the Christian religion while not elevating, quote unquote, one religious sect in the state in preference to another. A jurisdictional separation between church and state was maintained by prohibiting, quote, a clergyman or preacher of the gospel or any denomination, end quote, from holding any civil office in the state while they continue in the exercise of the pastoral function. So essentially they're saying you can't be a pastor and be a civil servant. Conflict of interest, right? So you have to give up your duties as a pastor in order to be a civil servant. Delaware did require its office holders to subscribe to certain theological tenets, however. Article 22, every person who shall be chosen a member of either house or appointed to any office or place of trust shall also and subscribe to the following declaration, to wit, I fill in the blank, do profess faith in God the Father and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, and in the Holy Spirit, one God, blessed forevermore. And I do acknowledge the Holy Scriptures of the Old and New Testament to be given by divine inspiration. This is Delaware's Constitution in 1776. New Jersey, 1776. Very similar verbiage. Right? A citizen of New Jersey would not be compelled by state law to attend any place of worship, contrary to his own faith and judgment. Neither would he be obliged to pay tithes, taxes, or any other rates for the purpose of building or repairing any church or churches, places of worship, or for the maintenance of any minister or ministry. Right? There's a lot of this in here. Right? Georgia, 1777. Let's listen. This is New Jersey still. We hope you will habitually bear in mind that the success of the great cause in which the United States are engaged depends upon the favor and blessing of Almighty God, and therefore you will neglect nothing which is competent to the assembly of the states for promoting piety and good morals among the people at large. These are instructions from the legislature of New Jersey to its delegates in the Congress in 1777. But America isn't a Christian nation. Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Carolina, South Carolina, Pennsylvania. Biblical law, page 74, was the standard the states used to form civil litigation. Perfect example of this biblical foundation is in the Supreme Court ruling of the 19th century dealing with a major tenet of Mormon belief, polygamy. The Supreme Court narrowly defined the legal protections of the First Amendment to exclude polygamy on the grounds that the practice was out of accord with the basic tenets of Christianity. Quote, the organization of a community for the spread and practice of polygamy is, in a measure, a return to barbarism. It is contrary to the spirit of Christianity and the civilization which Christianity has produced in the Western world. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But I commend the book to you. You should read it. I don't know. So, people say Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism. And now here comes the moving of the goalposts. Say that Christian nationalism they aren't Christian, but then I show you that Christian nationalism is our founding. And now it's goalpost moved. Right? Right? Well, I need a goalpost moving GIF. Yeah. GIF. Let's say. Right. I'll post the link to the book in the description, right? Real quick. All right. So this is what it is. What's like? This is what's happening. Where is it? No, that's not it. Pivot. All right. Let's see. Yes, I'll post a link to it. Here it comes. The book. No problem, Sarah. Okay. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. He even taught that there are quotes from Supreme Court justices where they claim that America is a Christian nation. It's the separation mirage. He goes through the separate. I'll read the some of the subtext, the chapters and subtitles, but it's a really great book by Gary DeMar from American Vision. America's Christian History, Fact or Fiction. That's the first. That's the introduction. Chapter 1, Censoring the Past. Chapter 2, Lessons from the Past. Chapter 3, Christian Colonies. Chapter 4, State Constitutions, Religious Oaths, and Biblical Law. Chapter 5, God and the Constitution. Chapter 6, Colonial Education. Chapter 7, God in Our Nation's Capital. Chapter 8, The Treaty of Tripoli. Chapter 9, The Separation Mirage. Chapter 10, Whitewashing History, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Chapter 11, Whitewashing History, John Adams and Abraham Lincoln. The conclusion, The Remaking of America. Appendix A, Thanksgiving in God. Appendix B, Theocracy and Democracy. Appendix C, Christopher Columbus and the Flat Earth Myth. Appendix D, George LaHote and the City of New Orleans. Appendix E, Dave Brewer under review. Deism. Appendix F, Deism and the Founding of America. Appendix G, Jesus Christ and the Founding of America. Appendix H, Baptism of Pocahontas at Jamestown, Virginia, 1613. So those are the chapters. Okay. But that's one of the books that I would recommend everyone read because he doesn't sugarcoat it. Yeah. He tells it like it is. All right. Now, I think, how long have I been going? It's been an hour and a half. Almost, yeah, an hour and a half. Yep. So those Epstein files, and one of the reasons why we want it is because we want to protect what is America. I know a lot of people they believe they want socialism. They believe they want, they believe that they want to tear it all down and, remake it new out of the ashes like a phoenix. Be careful what you wish for. Socialism has been tried. It has failed. Oh, let me do this. This will be the last thing. Let's see if I can find. Yes. Okay, let's look at this. My wife sent me this. This was awesome. Okay. The government in Kansas City tried to subsidize a grocery store. It failed miserably. A rotten smell, shelves empty. Can't buy anything, no food. Don't show this to Zoran. Now, about 7 years ago, they tried this experiment. I think it was last year, late last year or early this year. The owner said that he had been losing money, operating at a loss for the past 2 years. Crime, overrun. Was overrunning the store. People were stealing. So they gave the store about $1 million in funding. That helped it for a while. But again, the theft is still there. And you see the results of the socialization of government. The socialization of the food supply would be a disaster.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food? A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked in an area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
Around here, a good thing don't last too long.
And it will impact a lot of people and a lot of families.
The city owns the Linwood Shopping Center. A nonprofit operates the grocery store. It's clear this
Right, I know, right? He said it, right?
That's racist!
That's racist. You don't want socialized everything? No, I don't. I like being able to go to Walmart and choose healthy options, because people mentioned this, and we'll talk about this illegal immigration before we leave today. People mentioned, when I mentioned the other day that we have an epidemic of overweight poor people, right? Someone came into my comments and strawmanned the argument, right? The fact that America is so opulent that we have so many options and so much food that people can cry poverty and be obese. And the person came into the comments and said, well, they don't have healthy food options. They're choosing between going to the grocery store and getting dollar food from McDonald's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many things are wrong with that, right? Oh yeah, I shop at Walmart. I don't know what Walmart y'all going to, but Walmart has produce options, and they have options. You can shop healthy, and they restock it if people buy it. Walmart's in the business of making money. They stock what people buy. I learned that the hard way when I stopped buying something. I think I was one of the few people that was buying it. They stopped stocking it. Walmart has organic produce. Walmart is about making money. It's a business. Walmart isn't in the killing people business. They're going to stock what you buy. Perfect example. Recently, Walmart started stocking empanadas. The first time I saw empanadas, caramel apple empanadas, in Walmart was a few months ago when we were in San Antonio. I just started seeing them here last month. Why did they do that? They've expanded the Hispanic food section. Why do you think Walmart did that? We see more tortilla chips and Hispanic food items displayed here in the Walmart where I live more recently. Why? Because there is a demand for it. There are people who are purchasing it. And Walmart says, oh, wait, this demographic is changing. They're buying more of this food. We're going to stock more of it. It's a pretty simple strategy. If you bought more organic stuff, they would supply more organic stuff. It really is that simple. You can go to a Walmart in certain demographics and find things that you won't find in another demographic in the same city, because certain demographics don't buy certain things. I don't know why this is rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's business. The profit margins for grocery stores are so small, they need to make sure that people are buying the stuff. They don't want it to rot. They don't want to throw it away. It really is that simple. We buy organic from Walmart. We buy fruit from Walmart. We buy grass-fed beef from Walmart. And I live in a majority black city, in a majority black neighborhood. And a lot of black people buy organic. Because Walmart ain't racist. That's racist! Walmart,
I just want some money.
Just want some money. It's shocking, I know. Walmart just wants some money as a business. Wow. Wow. Newsflash. Well, again, like I said, they're going to stock what you buy. So buy organic. Now, when you have to deal with crime in your neighborhood, in a socialized grocery store, and the Kroger leaving because of crime, and Walmart leaving Chicago neighborhoods because of crime, then they'll cry that Walmart is racist. But Walmart, again,
I just want some money.
Just want some money. And they're tired of paying the exorbitant insurance and having to resupply after being the 5-finger discount, and then having to pay asset protection and locking down certain items because certain groups want to take them, right? So why did they cancel DEI? Because DEI is nonsense. That's why. No one should be forced to hire someone because of intersections or diversity. Diversity is not a strength. Walmart isn't going to be a great business. It wasn't a great business because it became diverse. Walmart sold what people liked. That's how they became rich. That's what the Waltons did. It wasn't because they were diversifying. And who did DEI help the most? Can someone answer that question in the comments? Yeah. Yes. It took you that long to figure it out? Yeah. The channel where we don't go with the prevailing narrative. We actually research and figure out the truth. Yes. Someone tell her who DEI benefited. Right? Thank you. There you go. White women. So why are you upset that it's gone? Why are you upset that it's gone when it didn't even benefit you like that? It's a great question. That's a great question. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to head out because I got stuff to do. Yes. Yeah. I'll see you all most likely tomorrow. I may do a members only live as well where we discuss some things that the members have been asking about. Some manosphere type stuff. So anyway, until next time, this is the closeout. Until next time, this is 1 Corinthians 16:13, because someone actually thought I was questioning people's manhood. They obviously don't know the Bible. But 1 Corinthians 16:13 says this: be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See y'all around. Bye.